Welcome back, coin lovers. In today's video, we're diving into the history of the four-Lincoln Wheat Penny, a classic copper coin from the post-war era that carries the story of America's growth and prosperity. We'll explore its design, mintage, and value, and discover why this simple 1-cent piece remains such a beloved treasure for collectors around the world. So sit back and enjoy the journey into the timeless legacy of the Wheat Penny. First up, the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny stands as one of the later issues in the long-running and beloved Wheat Ear Cent series, which was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin features Lincoln's right-facing portrait on the obverse and the famous wheat ears design on the reverse. The 1952 issue holds a special place in American numismatic history because it represents the post-war era of economic growth and optimism that defined the early 1950s in the United States. The obverse of the 1952 Wheat Penny bears a detailed image of Abraham Lincoln, surrounded by the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1952 to the right. The reverse showcases two stylized stalks of wheat encircling the denomination 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum, out of many one, above. The simple yet powerful design symbolized the nation's strength, unity, and agricultural roots, ideals that resonated deeply with Americans during that period. The 1952 Wheat Penny was minted in 3 U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. The Philadelphia Mint struck 186,856,980 coins. The Denver Mint produced 746,130,000 coins, and the San Francisco Mint created 137,800,004 coins. Combined, over 1 billion wheat pennies were minted in 1952, reflecting the high demand for coinage during a time of strong economic activity in post-World War II America. Because of this massive production, the 1952 cent is not considered rare, though it remains a meaningful and collectible piece of American coinage history. Like most wheat pennies of the era, the 1952 coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Freshly struck, examples exhibited a bright reddish-orange color, but over the decades, oxidation and handling have turned most into brown or reddish-brown tones. Collectors classify these coins by their surface color and condition: red RD, red-brown RB, and brown BN. Fully red, uncirculated examples are the most desirable and valuable because they retain their original mint luster. In circulated condition, the 1952 Wheat Penny generally holds only modest value, typically worth a few cents. However, in mint state grades, especially in MS 65 red or higher, the value can range from $5 to $20, depending on the mint and the coin's color designation. Top-tier specimens graded MS 67 red or better can sell for $100 or more, particularly those with strong strike quality and eye appeal. Some varieties and errors exist among the 1952 Wheat Pennies that attract collector interest. These include repunched mint marks, RPMs, die cracks, die chips, and even minor off-center strikes. While these errors are not as famous as those on other years, such as the 1955 double die, they still add a layer of uniqueness and desirability. Coins showing sharp, double impressions, or clear RPMs can fetch higher premiums from error collectors. Historically, the 1952 Lincoln cent reflects a nation in transition, from the hardships of the Great Depression and World War II to the prosperity and modern optimism of the 1950s. By this time, Lincoln's image had already become one of the most recognized and respected symbols of American democracy, and the wheat penny design had become a cherished part of daily life. The coin circulated widely, passing through millions of hands in stores, schools, and workplaces, serving as both currency and a quiet tribute to Lincoln's enduring legacy. The 1952 Wheat Penny also marks the closing chapter of the classic wheat design era. Within just a few years, the U.S. Mint would retire the wheat reverse and introduce the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959, commemorating the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. As a result, Coins like the 1952 Wheat Penny are treasured by collectors not only for their beauty, but also for their place in the timeline of American coin design, a bridge between early 20th century artistry and modern minting. Though it may not be rare, the 1952 Wheat Penny remains a timeless reminder of America's rich history. Its copper surface carries the story of a nation emerging into a new era of progress and confidence. Every 1952 penny, whether found in an old jar, inherited collection, or a roll of coins, offers a tangible link to the hands, hearts, and history of those who lived during one of America's most hopeful decades. Next up, the 1955 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny is a classic piece of American numismatic history that belongs to the final years of the iconic wheat ear design, which have been in use since 1909. Struck at the Denver Mint, the D mint mark appears just below the date on the obverse side of the coin, signifying its origin. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features a detailed right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, celebrating his enduring legacy as one of the nation's greatest leaders. The reverse side proudly displays two stylized wheat stalks flanking the words 1 cent, United States of America, with E pluribus unum above, an emblem of unity and the agricultural roots of the American economy. The 1955 D wheat cent was minted in enormous quantities, 563,257,500 coins in total, making it one of the highest mintages of the entire Wheat Penny series. This large production was part of the post-World War II boom, a time when the United States economy was thriving, and coinage demand was high due to expanding commerce and population. Because of this high mintage, the 1955 D is considered common among wheat pennies, and can still be found in old rolls, jars, and estate collections across the country. Compositionally, the 1955 D penny retained the traditional 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc alloy used in most Lincoln cents from 1909 through 1982. When freshly minted, these coins had a rich red-orange color, but over time many have oxidized into brown or red-brown tones. Collectors often categorize them based on color: red RD, red-brown RB, and brown BN. Coins that remain fully red and uncirculated are the most sought after. While the 1955 D penny is not rare, its historical charm and the era it represents make it special. The 1950s marked a transitional phase for American coinage. The wheat design was nearing its end. Just a few years later, in 1959, it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Reverse to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Thus, the 1955 D stands as one of the last full-decade wheat pennies before that iconic change. Collectors value the 1955 D wheat cent in circulated condition at only a few cents above face value, depending on where. However, in high mint state grades, its worth increases significantly. A bright, uncirculated 1955 D in MS 65 red can sell for $10 to $20, while superb examples graded MS 67 or higher by major grading services like PGS or NGC can command $50 to $150 or more, depending on quality, luster, and eye appeal. Interestingly, while the 1955 D itself is relatively common, it often gets confused with its famous counterpart, the 1955 Philadelphia Double Die Wheat Penny, one of the most well-known and valuable mint errors in U.S. history. However, the 1955 D does not have the major double die error. Some minor varieties, such as repunch mint marks, RPMs, or small die cracks, do exist, and these can be collectible in their own right. An RPM variety might show a faint secondary D impression overlapping the main mint mark, adding a bit of uniqueness and value for variety collectors. Historically, the Denver Mint was a primary producer of circulating coins during this era, known for efficiency and consistency. However, because of massive output, some 1955, D cents were struck with slightly worn dies, resulting in weak details, soft lettering, or uneven surfaces. These aren't errors, but rather normal variations from heavy production. In the broader story of American coinage, the 1955 D wheat penny symbolizes a time of confidence, growth, and stability. It circulated widely in the pockets of everyday Americans during a period of prosperity, when the average person earned only a few dollars a day, and a single penny still held real purchasing power. Today, holding a 1955 D Wheat Penny is like holding a piece of mid-20th century Americana, a tangible reminder of post-war optimism and craftsmanship. For collectors, it remains a cornerstone in completing the Wheat Penny collection, 1909 to 1958. Even though it isn't rare or valuable in most grades, its charm lies in its history, design, and connection to an era when pennies were truly made of copper and carried the weight of a nation's story in the palm of your hand. Next up, the 1950 D Wheat Penny is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, minted during a period of post-World War II recovery and economic growth. Struck at the Denver Mint, this coin bears the small D mint mark just below the date on the obverse front side. Like all Lincoln Wheat Pennies, it features a famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The reverse side carries the wheat ears design, 2 stalks of wheat surrounding the words 1 cent. United States of America, symbolizing America's agricultural strength and prosperity. The 1950 D Wheat Cent was part of the long-running Lincoln Wheat Penny series, 1909 to 1958, which was later replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. It was minted in huge quantities. 334,950,000 coins were produced in Denver alone, making it one of the more common wheat pennies from the 1950s. Despite its large mintage, the 1950 D still holds historical significance because it represents the post-war American era when coin production and circulation were increasing rapidly alongside the nation's booming economy. Composition-wise, the 1950 D Wheat Penny was made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving its classic reddish-brown color. Over time, exposure to air and handling caused many of these coins to develop darker brown or even greenish patinas. Collectors prize well-preserved examples, especially those that still have their original red luster. In circulated condition, these coins are quite common and usually worth just a few cents to $1. However, in uncirculated mint state, grades with full red color, they can fetch anywhere from $5 to $50 or more, depending on the grade and quality. A few varieties and minor errors from this year also exist. Some 1950 D Wheat Pennies show die cracks, repunched mint marks, RPMs, or weak strikes, which can slightly increase their value. A strong repunched mint mark RPM, where you can see 2 overlapping D marks, is a collectible variety among error coin enthusiasts. High-grade examples certified by coin grading services such as PGS or NGC can reach even higher prices, especially in MS 67 or MS 68 red condition, where their surfaces remain flawless and shiny as they were the day they left the mint. Historically, the 1950s were a decade of transition in American coinage. While the design of the wheat penny remained unchanged, the U.S. Mint was modernizing production methods, which improved consistency and reduced striking errors. The 1950 D is one of the later issues in the wheat series, and by this time, collectors were beginning to save rolls and bags of new pennies directly from the bank. Because of that, a large number of 1950 D coins survive today in mint state, which keeps their value relatively moderate compared to rarer dates like 1909 SVDB or 1914 D. Even though it's not rare, the 1950 D Wheat Penny remains a beloved collectible because it represents an important chapter in the story of U.S. coinage. For many coin collectors, finding one in pocket change or adding a high-grade specimen to a wheat penny collection feels like owning a small piece of American history. Its simple yet meaningful design, Lincoln's profile on the front and the wheat ears on the back, captures the spirit of a nation built on hard work, unity, and growth.